Oh, yes, it is that time of the month. Well, no, sorry, not that time of the month. That. You know what? If I could start again, I would. That didn't quite come out how I intended. So look, I'm sorry if I'm a little bit rattled, if I seem a bit not quite myself. There is actually a good reason for that because, well, there's no nice way to say this. I think I have upset somebody very dangerous, and I think I may have been given the cigar professor kiss of death. This is quite concerning. I got my cigar for tonight. I was really looking forward to this one, and what I discovered was that. Now I'm pretty sure that is basically a goat's head on my balcony. That is basically the kiss of death. I have been given the last warning, if it is even a warning. This might just be it. I might just not wake up in the morning. Perhaps this very cigar has been laced. I don't know. But I do know that's not good, not a good sign. So forgive me if I'm not quite myself. It's obvious who it is. There's no real question about who is threatening to kill me at this point in time. But there's nothing for it but to bite the bullet. And Damo, friend, buddy, pal, best mate, how are you?
Well, it's about time you came out and said it was that time of month for you.
Well, now listen, you're not the only one.
We've been for so long now, and it's just good to see that you finally come to terms with it and happy to admit it publicly.
Well, let's be honest. These days being what they are, you're not allowed to tell me that I'm not. So you can just.
Well, look, we always suspected you were. So we were ahead of the curve the whole way.
Well, look, I would love to engage in banter with you, but I think my best defense mechanism tonight is just going to be being super nice to you, because I'm not sure what this means, but I know it's not good. That is, I don't know what message you were trying to send to me, Damo. Traditionally we've had a deal. All these years we've had a deal. You give the crap ones to Omar. That was our deal, and now you're changing the deal, and I've got to say I'm not okay with this.
What are you going to do? Cry?
Omar hasn't missed a single show since the start of the Cigar Professor.
Okay, so you're going for quantity over quality. That's your.
Hey, there's not much of a quality. There's just there was a thing, and there was this
a dedication.
Listen. I'm not here to argue with people that are well and truly beneath my pay grade. There is a verse in the Bible that says, "Don't cast your pearls before swine," which honestly, it probably means I shouldn't even be here in the first place. But you know what? I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to show up when I feel like it. And you're just going to have to suck it up, princesses. Right? Can you tell us a little bit about this cigar, Damo, before this show just completely derails? What in the world do we have in our hands?
The Garofalo family, I think it's the Family Reserve or Family Legacy. Let me just double check. It is Family Legacy, Connecticut. It's distributed by United Cigars, but it is contract manufactured by Perdomo. So this tobacco...
there it is. There it is.
And it is manufactured in the Perdomo factory. So this is a Perdomo cigar by another name.
This is a Perdomo cigar. We should have known. All right.
Look, well, I thought I would, just confuse you at the start of the show. I'm actually not wearing the Perdomo shirt tonight. So
what is with this week? I get the crap cigar. You're not wearing a Perdomo shirt. Omar actually showed up on time. I know. It's like this is the weirdest show we've ever had. I will say though, I absolutely lathered these cracks in cigar glue about 4 hours ago, and it's actually held up really well with the cut. It's actually this might actually just smoke just fine. So you're going to have to try harder. You're going to have to try harder, Damo.
You have to if you find it's leaking in there, you're just going to have to take it in a bit deeper.
So, yeah, you're going to have to try.
Online.
Yeah, I'm sure there's quite a lot loose. I've got a good draw. Lovely fresh grass smell. Now these have actually been aged for 6 months before they even go to the retailer, and then obviously there's more time that passes by the time
And
it
I've had
reaches
them
us
for
and then
about
heads
6
out
months
to
as
you.
well.
You've had them for 6 months, and then this is stick number 3 in this pack, so there's another 3 months there. So
Yep.
there's well over a year on these, possibly quite a lot more. But it does still have. It's not fresh cut hay, but it is still lively. It's not an old funky barnyard. It is still quite a fresh aroma.
It's a quite an amusing thing. You're trying to act like you know what you're talking about. So just don't even fucking try. You just rock up after 2 years. Just be a princess. Don't fucking talk about 4 hours glue shit. Just shut up and don't be a princess, right? Okay, now
Well,
we covered that.
I can't help but notice that your audio is crap and is like ringing. Are you hearing that, Damo? When Omar was talking?
A bit faint there. You're either going to have to talk a lot louder or get a bit closer.
How's the audio?
That's better.
That's better, yeah.
So let me say this again one more time. I would highly
just in case I missed it.
So I heard you talk about the flavors and 4 hours bitching about something. The best thing you could do in this scenario is just shut the fuck up because you rocked up after 2 years. Don't worry about this shit. Should be thankful to Damo. He got you the cigar and you're smoking it. But I do agree with you. It certainly has this barnyard thing, but more on the greener side. And freshy, very freshy. Very freshy, Toph. You palate
and a bit of pepper, well, actually a fair bit of pepper, black pepper on the light up. It's got that pepper texture to it as well.
Got to say, I'm missing the pepper. I'm not getting that at all. This is for me opening up incredibly smooth. I know it's meant to have some spices through it. It's meant to be, have a bit more body than a lot of Connecticut's do. But right now, this is opening up extremely light, bakery, little bit of wood notes. Not specifically a cedar. It's not as bright as a cedar, but there's some timber notes in there. Beautiful, smooth opening. No pepper at all for me.
Look, I'm not sure if it was a black pepper, but I was going to say it had a very light, like white pepper, probably, like very light, very light, very.
It would have to be very light. Now, can I just make the point, Omar, that you should be grateful? I did miss last month, and I have to apologize to all of our viewers for having to go through an entire show without me. That must have been arduous and very, 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 very difficult. So I do apologize. But what that means, of course, is because, the one thing that I do on this show, the real value that I bring is that I whinge. I have to make up for last month. So there will be a double dose of whinging this month. I will be finding things to complain about. And obviously I opened very strongly with the cigar, whinging about that. So, Omar, you're just going to have to settle in for a long night of Topher whinging.
Oh, man. Come on, dude. Come on.
Too right, Ethan. Too right.
That woody note that I'm getting is sort of a cross between cedar and oak.
I thought you were going to tell me it was a cross between Nick Perdomo and somebody else. I don't know.
And definitely agree with Omar on that fresh barnyard on the green grassy side of it. So.
There you go. So here's someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Hay on the cold draw, hit of pepper on the first light. I must have missed that. Pepper relaxed quickly to a mild white pepper and unspecified wood notes. Yeah, look, that's broadly speaking where I'm at now. There is a slight pepper in there now. I missed it on the light up, but it is just mostly unspecified wood notes. It tastes nice. It's a little bit campfire. It's just a relaxed kind of beautiful, easy to smoke, easy to enjoy.
Yeah. Milder cigar. I would put in the category of mild.
It claims to be a medium, but at this point in time, I'm with you, Omar. Very, very mild.
Mild cigar.
There's an interesting sour spice on the lips.
Oh yeah.
If you lick your lips after you've taken a puff from it, I can't pick the spice, but just an unusual spice note.
Yeah. Wow. I thought you were about to describe Nick Perdomo after your encounters, but yeah, that's cool.
Stu, there must have been some new people coming on because this comment here makes no sense at all. If it was just the usual crew.
Yeah, now Stu got his fingers on the pulse. We got you, Stu.
David Lionhelm's trying to start trouble. Listen, mate, you go gallivanting around the planet all the time and you don't show up for the show, so don't you go giving me any crap at all.
Nah.
Mister, I'm going on another cruise around South America. I might stop off in Antarctica while I'm in the neighborhood.
He's got a point, man. Dave's got a point.
Make tax evasion great again, Caps. Yeah, don't wear them around Canberra. You might get some unwanted attention. Actually, there's an ATO office just in town down here, so I probably don't want to wear them around here either. Lucerne hay. We're getting to the point where we're defining the type of hay. So, Dan, is this Lucerne hay that was harvested late in the evening or early in the morning? Was there dew on the hay at the moment of harvesting? Because obviously that's really the point here. I mean, Lucerne hay, yeah, whatever. When was it harvested?
Well, the thing that I find, respectable about that is the fact that he's actually been around hay burning and knows the smell. So, kudos to him.
You know what we should do is add to the pack sometime some of these American sort of blended tobacco and weed cigars. Just have one of them in the pack. Because I guarantee you, Daniel is going to pick up that tasting note immediately.
Daniel, Dave have a very interesting point. I don't know if you read it or not. I'm happy for you to eat it out loud so people know.
Yeah, look,
yeah, I'd rather not.
I definitely agree, David. It was a very chilled, relaxed. There was some great conversation in that show, and look, I stand by the point again. Cigars facilitate, and I would argue necessitate, good discussion.
Yeah, more to the point. It was entertaining. He thinks
that one except
just
didn't have to. Hear you. Wow, everyone agreed it was the best ever. Oh wow!
When you say everyone, you just basically had a circle jerk with your multiple personalities. Like that's what I mean. I watched it back afterwards, and it just seemed to be all of Damo's multiple personalities just gathering around and telling him how great he was.
This gentleman sounds really smart. What's his name, Mr. Clark? Damo is a superior host, followed by Omar. Topher is just holding what? Us up with this. Yeah, that's definitely right, Mr. Clark. You do have a point. Very logical man indeed.
I'm not even convinced Ethan smokes cigars, so I'm not sure that his opinion is actually valid. Ethan, tell us what you're smoking if you're smoking something at all. Because let's be honest, if you're not smoking a cigar, then we can't take your opinion seriously.
Hey, he's been a great participant. You always give us some good comments about cigar, the notes, and everything.
Yeah, and everyone's got Google these days. I mean, this Ethan Clark could just be a euphemism for Chat GPT at this point. I mean, he's just talking computer generated nonsense.
At least he shows up.
Hey, quality over quantity. I've said it before. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
This is going to be the weirdest tasting note I think I've ever given for a cigar. But the last two puffs, it was almost a bit milky, and I was trying to pick, but it wasn't quite like normal milk. It's a bit like almond milk.
I am proud to say that I don't know what that tastes like. and Ethan, I mean, there's perfect timing, Ethan. Nor do I know what a soy latte tastes like. Never had one. Never planned to.
Oh,
actually, Ethan, it's not so much a thing now, but going back about 5-10 years ago, there'd be all the women with their babies go and have the mothers group meeting at cafes. They'd all meet up and, you know, have their chit chats. And they'd always order a soy decaf latte. And most of the baristas used to call them an LSD. So another LSD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, on to cigar news, because we are a cigar show.
We are.
And I know that David's joined us tonight, and this is right up David's alley. Remember, way back, we had Dos Hombre as one of the cigars in one of the packs.
It was a good one too.
So I can't remember which one. I think it was the Honduran we had in the Dos Hombre, because I did a Honduran coffee to go with it from memory.
Mm-hmm.
So to keep the prices the same, they're no longer doing them in boxes. I guess, you know, inflation, trying to keep prices the same. They've got to, you know, cut costs where they can. They come in these little packs now. So I've restocked with Robustos of the Dos Hombre in the Honduran. But I have also managed to get hold of the Nicaraguan.
Oh, nice.
As you can see, different color band.
That's
green.
darker. Yeah. And there's also a darker wrapper on those ones, it looks like.
And then I've also got Dominican. So we've got 3 different Dos Hombres.
Yeah, wow.
In stock
cool.
now. So, and I could not believe it. I found some more stock of Hammer and Sickle. Cigar.
You know, I was actually thinking about those just the other day.
So the sun-grown in Connecticut's all gone. The only one that I could find was they had a more premium stick that they called their Hermitage Number 1 by Hammer and Sickle. And so I've bought a few packs of them as well. So we've got some Hammer and Sickle in stock. So
continuing your trend of bringing in cigars that we will never get more of, so that people can buy them, fall in love with them, and then forever wish they'd never had them because now they miss them.
The Dos Hombre I can get again. It's just, but yeah, you know, I've got that fetish. So, and I don't know when you want me to. I've chosen the cigars for the next pack. Well,
you know, I think before we let people in on what the cigars for the next pack are going to be, do you want to let them in on what the extra little bonus present is going to be? Do you want to do that before, or do you want to save that for the end? It's up to you. Well, Omar doesn't know what's going on.
You could display it on the screen. We won't say anything about it and see if anyone can work out what it is.
Excellent. I like it. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. This is fastest fingers first. Dive in the comments. Get your fingers ready on the keyboard. Tell us what's going on here. That's it. That's all the clue you're getting. What was that? Jump in the comments. Talk to us. Well, Ethan Clark is a million miles off, but it does look very red. I'm not so sure that that it is red, but it looks very red on that camera. And damn you, Mr. Stu, this was meant to like drag out for like 10 minutes. We're supposed to fill out like 10 minutes of the show. But Mr. Stu got in first. Dan jumped in second, but misspelled it. Stephen, you got the bronze medal, and at least you had good spelling and some punctuation. So, you know, bonus round for that. Tomato sauce. Look, I can't say that just based on how it looks, I can't say it like, come on, that's tomato sauce. Damo, how in the world have you made chocolate look like velvet red cake?
Well, it's actually the infrared lamp that I have sitting above it. Because I'm making it on a small scale, the machinery doesn't generate sufficient heat of its own to temper the chocolate and actually get it to process properly. So I've actually got an infrared lamp over the top of it to keep it at the right temperature. So hence the ready hue to the color.
I love Facebook users' optimism here. Ice cream, because we're going to we're not only going to ship humidity-controlled cigars, we're also going to ship temperature-controlled ice cream out to all of you in the next pack. Like I love the optimism. I'm not sure who it is, but I love the optimism. But no, Ethan's getting right to the point here. Ethan, I'm fairly sure he wasn't abducted by aliens. I'm pretty sure he was replaced by aliens. I don't think this is the real
That's
Damo
not to say
anymore.
that I'm not the alien. You know, in the.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know.
Men in Black style.
Well, look, I like to say that I'm an alien of this world. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So is that another batch of your super black, like 100% chocolate?
So I did do a batch of that, and I split half of it off. So that will be the 100% chocolate. What you saw getting made there is I'm actually doing a dark milk. It's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of about a 65% chocolate.
Okay.
So not quite as dark as a 70, not as milky as a milk chocolates, which usually sit around about 50%. So sort of somewhere in between. It does have milk in it, and I've used Rapadura as the sweetener in it, which will get Omar all excited. I haven't figured out what I'm going to eventually do with it. I am contemplating with the idea of maybe throwing some coffee in there or give it some nice flavor of some description, but it's a work in progress. I'll just see how it develops over the next few days of manufacture. So
you're literally just making it up as you go along.
Pretty much, yeah. That's how I fly.
That's how you roll. Yeah, why not?
So anyway, next pack.
Yes.
The first cigar of the next pack, the cigar for March, is going to be this one.
I can't see that at all. Ooh, without compromise. I see.
Open it up. There's the box.
Right.
Comes in. Let me get the box out. And there we go.
That is pretty. That is very pretty.
Right, there we go.
That's beautiful.
All right.
Gorgeous.
Steve Saka excellence. Stephen Crow is all over it. He's already called it out. Stephen Saka excellence.
All right, so that's going to be the first one. The next one in the pack.
Well, we didn't even get a drum roll. You're just like bang.
That's it.
That is the Ave Maria Divina, and that's in a Robusto, is it?
This is actually a Toro.
Very nice.
So I'll pull one out. There we go. Try and get the light on.
Yeah, lovely. Look, I've had those in the Morning Star Vitola previously, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful blend. But I've only had it in the Morning Star.
The way I describe it, it's a spicier, sweeter version of the Ave Maria Immaculata. So it's still a lovely, light smoke, but it has got more complexity and more spice and a little bit more interest in it. I've had a few of these, and definitely like it. Now, let's see if any of our viewers can work out what this next and final stick in the next pack is.
Oh, goodness. Hang on. Let me get that comment out of the way. I don't even recognize that.
No.
It's a guy in a spacesuit with like a sandcastle shovel, and what's in his other hand, or is that on his chest? His hand is just in the way. It's like he's marching.
Yes. Yep.
He's marching with a sandcastle shovel in space. Well, you got me. I'm stumped. I am stumped. However,
any of our viewers.
Oh, Stephen Crow, all over it. Johnny Tobacconaut.
It is indeed Johnny Tobacconaut.
Absolute legend, Stephen. Look at that. Oh, you can see that. We can tell you've already sampled the wares.
Actually, no, I've pulled them out to actually sample them, but I just haven't had a chance to sample them as of yet. So,
no, hang on. Are you just covering
the QA on the batch before I post it out? But interestingly enough, the actual box has got magnets in it, so the lid actually holds shut with quite a strong magnet, actually, which is quite nice. There you go. So,
is that an anti-theft mechanism to try and keep Omar out? Because I'm pretty sure you're going to need stronger magnets.
Possibly. I can always upsize those magnets. But anyway, so they're the 3 sticks in the next pack. So now you know. and
All right.
they will be shipping out in about 2 weeks' time, probably.
So what's the deal with the Johnny Tobacco? What's that about?
So it's Room 101, and
Okay.
it's a play on a millennial version of Johnny Appleseed.
Okay. Okay. I mean, Room 101. He likes his sort of abstract stuff. I can't think of his name, but he's the guy who was a jeweler. He was making good money as a jeweler under the same brand name, Room 101, and then he's like, I like cigars too, and he's just started. He just gets them all contract manufactured for him. So, I mean, his farce in the Lonsdale was actually in our very first pack. It was the third cigar we ever had. Was the Room 101 farce Lonsdale. That was a beautiful stick. And that was, so that's, and it's, I think, have we had another Room 101 since then?
I don't think so. I think this will be our next Room 101. That's
so, the second Room 101. Yeah, okay. Well, I look forward to that. That'll be interesting.
So, it's had a lot of good reviews, and it's a nice, mild, smooth smoke. So I think that was going to go well in the pack. I was actually going to put the CO BX3 in this pack. Omar and I had one, and we felt as though we'd be better to sit on those sticks for a bit longer and age them a little bit longer.
And then you'll do another round of quality control, and then you'll do another round of, and then there won't be enough for the pack, so you'll just have to finish them off. I see how this works.
So anyway, so that will be deferred to a pack later in the year, but it was a great smoke, but it didn't quite sit where I was personally wanting the Maduro to sit, and I think just that little bit of extra age on them will get them across the line to where I think they'll be at their optimum.
It was a bit great.
So there's a Robusto there, there's a Toro, and the Sin Compromiso is the Intrepido size, which is a 5.63 by 46. So a bit skinnier and a bit longer than a Robusto.
Oh, damn it. Oops, wrong camera. That camera. Ash just dropped. I think I let it cool down a little bit too much.
Yeah. You always have some kind of...
Yeah, stop showing off. Hey, I have to whinge. That's my job. I have to make up for not whinging last month.
Oh, true.
Beautiful. Soft.
Wear it on your in your beard, Omar. That was too perfect, Omar. Well played.
Yeah, I did go on a bit, didn't I?
Now we know where the color comes from.
For sure.
Mind you, that stripe down the center there, that lines up perfectly with his cigar. So that must be like the burn mark into the beard, So
yeah, and the ash just kind of drops a little bit on the sides,
Yeah.
not quite centered. His aim isn't that good,
Nah, not yet. We got there.
Now, Omar.
Yeah.
When are you planning on taking some advice from your shirt?
What do you mean?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but does that say be sane?
No, it says sana.
Well, it should say be sane. That would make a lot more sense coming from you.
That's just, it was the wrong side you're looking at, so.
Yeah. Well, that joke didn't go well. We'll just move on and pretend that didn't happen.
Yep. Roger that.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Jet Setter, spending all that time in America, did you hit up the cheap cigars while you're in the land of the cheap cigars?
Look, I did a little bit, but I got to be honest, it was hard to carve out time in between my many conference appearances and the special guest appearance that I had at the Trump fundraising event at Mar-a-Lago. So it's very hard to carve out time for
name dropping.
Yeah, it's very difficult. When when you're interviewing John Stossel and just hanging out with Hercules, Kevin Sorbo, staying at his house for a couple of days. It's very difficult to carve out time for riffraff like yourself. That's why I wasn't available for the show. Is obviously you guys were just beneath me. That's just the brutal truth.
So you're in Florida, which is the home of cigars in America, and you couldn't, and you call yourself a cigar professor, and you couldn't even manage to get a cigar in the land where every second shop is a cigar shop.
I already know what's there. What's to learn? I'm a cigar professor. Like what? Like I'm just going to go and
you could have enjoyed relative, almost tax-free cigars.
Look, comparatively speaking, tax-free cigars, and I did bring a few home with me. I can neither confirm nor deny whether that amount that I brought home was within the limit of what you're supposed to bring home. But look, I did go to some cigar shops. I certainly indulged in a lot of indoor cigar smoking while I was there. Set off a few sprinkler systems in a few shopping centers, which annoyed a few people. But look, putting that aside, I had a really good time with cigars. But it's just when you're hanging out with the Don, and Donald Trump, and hanging out with Hercules, and these people are inviting you to their homes. It just, I don't know. The cigars just I don't know. They're just not as interesting. Well,
I do understand that Trump's son likes a cigar as well.
He does, and if he ever comes to Australia, I'll certainly be hitting him up with something good. But that's been postponed so many times that I'm questioning whether it'll ever happen. Yeah. Oh, Stu goes for the jugular.
Stu, right on the money.
Right.
I reckon that comment deserves a cigar.
Yeah.
Well, he's already having one. He's having the lot 23 from month one of this pack.
And I'll tell you what, the ones that he's got, the lot 23, are still part of the very same batch from that first lot. I've still got a partial box left from that very first lot that we purchased.
And was that pack 3, I think? Pack 3, if my memory serves me correctly. We brought the lot 23 in.
Let me go back and have a quick look.
Look, David, look, we were a little bit busy. Trump was asking my advice on geopolitics and how to deal with the Russia-Ukraine situation. So we did have a few sort of other things to discuss besides cigars. But he does actually, he gets his own custom blends made and won't tell anyone what's in them or where they're from. So he's a little bit he's a bit Joe Rogan-esque in that regard. He's got enough money, he's got enough connections that basically he's got someone to create a blend for him that he likes, and that's that. I mean, he smokes other stuff as well, but he's got his own stick. I mean, he gave me a box, of course, but I couldn't. I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and I'm not allowed to share them with anyone. So, don't ask.
Lot 23 was actually pack 1.
It was pack 1 all the way back then. Wow.
Yep.
Really?
It was the last stick of pack 1.
Oh, really?
I can even tell you when we smoked it. We smoked it on February the 26th.
Wow.
Damo. This isn't funny anymore.
Oh.
Totally user error.
It looks like a user.
Wow. When my chocolate arrives, I'm going to get it tested for toxins.
Look, I know that we were going to give Topher a hard time, but don't agree with what you just said to him. That's not nice. Did you say loser era? You shouldn't say that. That's not nice, man.
The wood is definitely a cedar note for me now.
It's brightened up. The whole cigar, I mean, we haven't talked about the flavors for a while. The whole cigar is actually brightened up a little bit. There is a slight bit more of the spice in there now. There's a bit more character in the flavor note. The wood note is still there. The timber note is still there, but it's brightened up. I'd say cedar is fair. And if I can just smoke my way through all the landmines that Damo has specially engineered into my cigar, then we'll see how it develops. I have a funny feeling that this might actually, by the final third, it will have evolved into that full sort of medium body that was promised.
Mm. With similar ring gauge, you're probably going to have the final third a little bit bolder, to most likely.
Yeah, it would stand to reason.
Mm.
Lovely smoke production, beautiful construction, notwithstanding that we've all lost our ash pretty early. So evidently the part of the leaves that they're using doesn't have a lot of stem in that first third.
I do wonder whether
dropping
it
our
might
ash.
be a bit of a Cuban sandwich, perhaps. Maybe it's long fill and a bit of trimmings in there as well, perhaps.
Wouldn't surprise me because that ash dropped very easily for all three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, after I'd done the display of all of the cigars, because I hadn't puffed on the stick, and when I picked it up and took a puff and heated it up, it just dropped at that point. So
yeah. Same with me. I put it down just for a minute or two, and then the first puff back, it dropped. Stephen's all over it. All over it. It's gone smooth and mellow now in the second third. Light cedar wood note, draw, and smoke is great. Ditto.
Yeah.
The actual construction of it, notwithstanding the abuse that it suffered at the hands of Damo. I mean, we talk about this all the time, how careless Damo is with his cigar storage and the way that he just abuses these sticks. But notwithstanding that, it's a very well made cigar.
No, definitely a very well made cigar.
look, when you've got to run the show single-handed all the time, there's only so much I can do in the hours of the days that I've got.
Just use both of your hands. Problem solved. You've got two of them. What are you whinging about? It's my job to whinge.
While I'm doing work with the other one.
Oh, yada, yada. Now I know why everyone hates me so much. Is this what I sound like all the time? That's terrible.
It's more ugly than you think, dude. It's actually bad.
Well, I have to say, if you handed this to me and simply told me it was a Perdomo, I'd believe you.
Yeah,
the combination of the flavors, the construction quality, just absolutely. This is, in a sense, it's not actually dissimilar to a Lot 23. It's a little bit bolder than the champagnes are typically. And it's not quite a sun-grown. It actually, funnily enough, it does kind of sit, for me anyway, it kind of sits in that same overall range as a Lot 23.
Yep. Yeah, it's similar enough, but different enough at the same time.
No, it's different. It's different. Yeah, it's not the same thing. But I'd characterize it in roughly that spot where it's a bold Connecticut, which is still a mild cigar, but it's bold for a Connecticut.
That, despite the ash dropping, absolutely beautiful burn.
Mm. Yeah, no issues for mine. Smoking beautifully despite the use of the glue and now a torn wrapper. The binder is clearly airtight and it's not having any breathing issues at all.
Yeah,
and look, amazingly, all that time that I was going through those cigars, I picked it up and I didn't have to light it up again. It was still burning quite nicely.
Still going.
So.
Yeah. Stews on the soda water. Well, you wild thing. What are the drinks for the evening? Well, look, I'm just on the black tea. Flying solo, just the black tea tonight.
That's cool.
Ginger ale for me.
I got some cola, man.
You sure that's not soy sauce in a cola bottle?
That's you,
looks like it's soy sauce.
You're the soy dude. Sharma cola. Speaking of soy, Damo was quite reluctant this afternoon. He wanted me to ask you, like, obviously I'm trying to be polite. Apparently you have started wearing bra because of the soy. Is that correct?
No, it's not because of the soy. It's because of the estrogen in the chickens that I'm eating.
Ah, roger that.
Yeah,
Roger.
yeah.
So no, the chicken in lots of soy.
Look, it's
hello.
Complete misinformation. I want the fact checkers to be activated on this. I am not wearing a bra because of the soy. There's a different reason.
Oh, this is totally
Yeah. Completely unrelated to the soy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Too much chafing.
A sweet cognac. Draws after a sip of giving me a light egg custard note. Well, there you go. Some eggnog in your cigar.
Actually, Stephen, if you want to try something quite interesting, doing a cold brew coffee instead of using water, using sweet cognac makes quite an interesting beverage.
Interesting being the operative word.
Look, it's you take a sip and you go, I don't know if I like this. Then you have another sip and it's like, this is actually not bad. You take a third sip and it's like, this actually works quite well.
So there is a channel on YouTube that I need to introduce you to, Damo, because it will give you nightmares, and no amount of counseling will ever make you. I was going to say will ever make you okay, but I mean that's already the case. It'll make you even worse because this person tries to come up with the most creative ways to ruin coffee. So, for example, roasting freshly cracked green coffee beans in a pan with oil and just fry pan roasting them. And then putting them through a hand grinder and making coffee out of it, making pour-over coffee with oily pan-fried coffee beans is one of the ones that sticks with me, and I'll never be able to get out of my memory. And he just comes up with all kinds of shenanigans, all kinds of different ways of destroying coffee. You'll love it.
Well, actually, I did see an episode on YouTube a while back where someone decided to deep fry the coffee.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Well, it wouldn't be that much different to pan fried oil, in oil. It was pan fried in oil. So I just can't imagine the texture that you would have in your coffee would just, yummy. Be almost as good as your chocolate.
Oh, man.
Well, funnily enough, chocolate is very high in oil content. So once you've roasted the cacao seed, and you crack it open and get the nibs, you actually just grind the nibs, and the amount of oil in it actually turns it into that liquid chocolate, what you saw there. So machine is actually 2 granite wheels and a granite base spinning around. And that's just the natural oil from the cocoa seeds or cocoa beans crushed out.
Yeah, wow.
So that amount of liquid has just naturally come out of the inside of the nibs, is what you're saying?
Correct.
That's amazing.
No liquid is added to that at all.
Yeah, wow. I genuinely had no idea. There you go. And then once that dries, or once that sort of hardens, that becomes the block of chocolate that we know.
Correct. Yep.
Goodness.
So basically, chocolate is effectively solidified cocoa fat.
Yeah, right.
Things dispersed in it, and the main thing it's dispersed in it is the cocoa solids, which is basically cocoa powder, and then we add other things to flavor it, so sugar and milk powder, or whatever it may be.
Stu, I don't know what food pyramid you're working off, but 85 to 100% chocolate is I think too much chocolate in your diet. I think you need to have probably a higher percentage of just about anything else, really. I think would do you some good. I can't imagine that.
I think he's referring to the type of chocolate he eats.
No. He said 85 to 100%. That must be the quantity as a proportion of his diet. I mean, he eats between 85 and 100% chocolate. I mean, far out. That is a lot of chocolate.
Yeah,
that's the chocolate diet.
Yeah, I want to hear more about this one. I mean, is this a new rendition of Super Size Me that we're talking about here?
Okay.
Emmett, relax. Well, got to say, good burn time out of this. 45 minutes in, and we're still, I'd say this is about halfway, I think. I've only dropped ash once.
Yeah, almost halfway.
Nice little bit of spice on the lips too.
Stop about the spice on your lip from the start, dude. That's just quit it. Just fuck it. Like, seriously. Just let it go. Just let it go. Don't worry about the lips.
Just do an Elsa and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Got to tell you, this is a winner. For a stick I'd never heard of before you proposed it for the pack, Damo.
It's pretty good.
You've found a winner here.
Hey, I got a question, James.
Mm-hmm.
When you got this stick,
Yeah.
did you know it was rolled by a Perdomo, or you just?
Yeah, I did. That's why I bought it.
Of course. Did you, Topher? Did you see the smile that just like pops open and his lips like, wow, dude, look at you.
See, Nick Perdomo told him about this stick that he was in development. He wasn't even public yet, and Nick was like, Damo, I've got another stick coming out, and Damo just pre-ordered some immediately. It didn't even know if they'd be any good or not.
Oh, missed this too. Topher, have you really lost 14 kilos?
No, Stu has, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he's done amazing things.
Okay, seriously.
Yeah, no, he's done amazing things. He's walking regularly. He's set up a gym in his home. He's got some weights there, and he's been on a really good diet. He's just said the diet's about 90% beef. So he's gone. I think, Stu, it's fair to say you've gone full carnivore. No, yeah, obviously mostly carnivore, but I think he's gone full carnivore, and with a little bit of chocolate thrown in.
Indulgence.
You need some.
Be nice, Daniel. If I'm down your way in a few weeks' time, I might have something to share with you. You never know.
Ooh, hello.
Who's that?
Don't know. Came up as Facebook user, but whoever it is, we're doing well and welcome. Thanks for watching. If you could go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and then it'll ask you to do a linking, and that way your picture will come through and your name will come through, just like it does for Dan here. And Dan is saying that his wife has lost 30 kilos. Look, Dan, amputation doesn't count. We're not included. No, Sharon's done amazingly. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but I think basically a full carnivore diet was the method there. And yeah, she looks fantastic. She's clearly got more energy. Yeah, all the things that they say it'll do, it's done.
Oh, Ethan asked me. Ethan, most of my family is in Atlanta, but some of them kind of moved to Cali for the growing purposes. A lot of fruits, and they're into farming of fruits. So some of them
they legalized marijuana, so they moved there for growing purposes.
Shut up. Topher, you're bad. You're a badass. It's Richard Cigar.
Richard Cigar. Richard, welcome. Welcome. Thanks for linking your account there so we can see who you are. Always good to have you on.
Yeah.
What are you smoking tonight, Richard? Allison is back.
Hey, and there's a picture of Bubs.
Yeah.
Hello. I was on a gin diet. So far, I've lost 3 days. Oh, dear.
Well, I guess that's one way to get baby to go to sleep.
Little nightcap for baby and a big nightcap for mum.
Them was done that for sure.
Excuse me a sec. I've got to deal with some kids who are out of bed.
And the quality of the show has just gone up a notch.
Better, man, so much better. The
There
bad
we
energy
go.
just like fucked off like a cheap suit. I have to say, Dema, let's just quickly talk about cigars before it fucks up again. So where you at? You starting the final third?
I reckon I'm about halfway.
I'm almost same as you, but
not quite to the final. I'm heading towards the end of the second third. I'm not quite there yet. Really, it's really lightened up. So it started off with quite a lot of bold spice for me at the start. Probably for about the first 2 to 5 minutes, I had quite a pleasant black pepper, and it really reminded me of, you know, when you get a nice steak and a black pepper sauce on the steak.
Yeah,
you know, they got that texture, that grittiness, that lovely, almost fruity pepper note to it.
Yeah,
I was getting that on the light up, and then it settled down, and I was getting the woods and the bakery notes. Then I got that unusual milk note, that almond milk note.
Yeah,
it's definitely a sweet cigar, but not the sweetest that we've had.
No, not the sweetest. I think I just feel that there's a bit of earth, like a mild, light, sort of earthy notes at the minute where I'm at. Just a mild earthy note. I think I'm probably like I'm about a few minutes ahead of you, probably.
The foot smoke's got a real floral note to it.
Yeah, foot smoke is floral. More earthy when you smoke it, though. It's got a little bit of earth. I definitely have earth in it. I'd love to see what Dan has to say about that. Also, a couple of the comments about the actual cigar. I think who's making the Stephen? Yeah, Stephen had said a pretty spot on things. I would love to hear from Stephen as to what he thinks in terms of the almost the end of the second third, or the start of the final third.
I tell you what, I missed out on getting.
Yeah,
was the CAO. Amazon Basin. I really wanted to get some of them, but they sold out so quickly.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Dan. That's very good news. You've been working hard towards that, so very, very glad to hear that.
That's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
And at your age, no offense, but you're not one of the young blokes anymore. So the fact that you're keeping up with them and making the state team is phenomenal.
Does that mean I can tell Dan to go get pucked now? Is that?
It's not ice hockey, Damo. Just leave the jokes to me. That's
okay. Fair enough.
Even by my standards, that was a stretch.
Look, the minister of my church is into his ice hockey. He's Canadian, and he is part of an ice hockey team out here, and I get a constant exposure to ice hockey on a regular basis. But I know that's not what Dan's doing. But
well, you know how ice hockey was invented. Two towns had this massive rivalry going, and they organised to have a massive punch-up, and accidentally an ice hockey game broke out, and they've just continued in that vein ever since. Now, you asked Stephen for his thoughts. Well, he says halfway through the second third, have a bit of sweetness, maybe marzipan notes. It's very relaxed now, smoking very smooth. There is a sweetness coming through, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And those marzipan notes would probably be very much playing off those almond notes that I was getting on earlier as well. So
there is a slight biscotti. Sorry.
I would say this, that the marzipan note, I don't know, it's just psychological, but it looks like it just kicked off. It actually really has kicked off.
I'm happy at the burn of this cigar, though. It's absolutely just delightful.
Beautiful. Stu this is actually a very, very funny comment for anyone that knows what Daniel actually does. He's like a sports massage therapist. So Stu is making the comment that Dan, to get on the state team, he must have been rubbing them the right way. Well, yeah, there's a legitimate way to look at that, and there's another way to look at that. I'll leave it to your imagination. Which one's which? Wait, I just put up Dan's comment. 20 years since I last made the state league team. Yes, I'm the oldest on the team. Don't make me revoke your admin pass there, Omar.
What happened?
Oh yeah, I stuck his comment up, and then you made it disappear. We're gonna have a bitch fight now, live on television. We're gonna have a bitch fight now. We're gonna have to have an argument over who's in control.
Look, you are the bitch, so that doesn't really matter.
Well, I'll win the fight then.
Yeah. You're the bitch. We are happy with that.
The smoke production's amazing. I'm on the balcony, so it all just kind of blows away. But beautiful, beautiful smoke production.
Beautiful smoke production. I'm still going back to Steven's note. I think he just nailed it. He just nailed it.
Yeah.
Got a really good palate. Really good palate.
Yeah.
Those biscuits, they're like a shortbready type biscuit with that little red jam dot on the top.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit, that jam dot's not overly sweet. It's got a little bit of that tartness to it and that fruity berry note. That's definitely what I'm getting in on that biscotti note there.
Those biscuits are my kryptonite. There was a bakery near where I used to live in Fitzroy that would sell them in packets of 6, and I would buy one and say, right, I'll have one each day for 6 days, and then I'll buy one pack a week basically. And somehow I would have to go back in the next day and buy another pack. I'm not quite sure how that would happen, but those biscuits are my absolute kryptonite.
Yeah, pretty good.
Well, I'm about to get to the area of the cigar where when I took the band off, it tore the wrapper. So we'll see if I run into burn issues. At the moment, it's breathing perfectly. There's no issues with how it's smoking. We'll just see how well it burns its way through that region.
Is David still with us at the moment? Just wondering how he's going with this cigar, how he's finding it, and his rating scale.
That's definitely no nicotine in the cigar now.
I wouldn't say none. I mean, we have established that I'm the bitch, so of course I'd be more sensitive to it. I wouldn't say none. There's not much.
Serious?
Well, nicotine makes me feel good, and I'm feeling good despite the fact that you're here, so there must be something.
Yeah. Does it irritate you listening to your own voice? It's quite horrible.
No, funnily enough, I could
never get sick of listening to their own voice, Omar.
No. There we go. See, nicotine's kicking in a little bit. All right, enjoying it. Nicotine is kicking in a bit. I agree. I'm right with David on this one. There is a little bit of nicotine here, but it is beautiful, beautiful cigar, and certainly not a strong cigar when it comes to the nicotine. So, Damo, when are you heading overseas? Omar's been overseas. I've been overseas. What's your problem?
Well, I was planning to go to PNG last year, and that fell through. Although the job that I was supposed to be going over to PNG hasn't been done yet, but having a look at what's going on in PNG at the moment, I probably don't want to go over there anyway.
Mm-hmm. For those that aren't familiar, what's going on?
The Highland Wars, people, foreigners working over there are getting taken as hostages, and revenge killings and stuff like that. So
you'll be right. You've got explosives.
So Look, I'm waiting for Trump to make America great again, and once America's great again, I'll probably go over there. So,
and just participate in the Civil War.
yeah, look, if I'm going to join a war, I'd rather join the war in America than the one in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
Better weapon selection over there.
It was quite funny. So I did get invited at the last minute to a Trump fundraising event at Mar-a-Lago, and because I was invited by someone who was emceeing, I got to sit at the very sort of front table. Just in the stage is right there, the lectern's right there, and I'm sitting there. And there's these velvet ropes kind of cordoning off this walkway, which is where Trump's going to walk down, and there's Secret Service everywhere. We went through 3 separate Secret Service checks, checking IDs and airport style scanners and bag machines and everything on the way in. And so finally we get in, we get settled, and Trump was having dinner not with us. He was having dinner with Vivek Ramaswamy, who was a presidential candidate. He pulled out. And I think he's now trying to angle for the vice presidential position on Trump's ticket. I think is his game. So they were having dinner, and that went a bit long. And so the room's kind of waiting for Trump to show up. And we had other people speaking. We had music, and we had various things going on. I mean, the room's amazing. The food's amazing. Everything's really cool. But I'm watching, and the only conclusion I could come to is basically that Trump is Taylor Swift for 60-year-old millionaires. Because they would keep on getting out of their seats and they would start lining up along this velvet rope. And the MC had to keep getting up and saying, guys, Trump is not arriving anytime soon. Please take your seats, enjoy your food, talk to people, enjoy your evening. Trump is still at least, half an hour away, at least 45 minutes away. Because these people were literally jockeying, and people like using their elbows to try and wedge themselves in between people to get to the velvet rope in the hope that they might get to shake his hand as he comes past on his way in. And to be in that room with with the exception of a handful of people like myself who just kind of randomly got in there, these people are all multimillionaires. You don't get into a Trump fundraising event unless you've got some serious money. And these are like multimillionaires acting like kids. And then Trump arrives, all right, and there's this circus around him because there's all the close security Secret Service guys, and then all just Secret Service everywhere, all over the property, all through the room. And he would walk over and he'd shake a few people's hands as he walked along, and he'd shake their hand. And then almost immediately a Secret Service guy would reach in and grab the hand of the person that was shaking Trump's hand and sort of try and peel it off, with the assumption being basically that people were going to grab his hand and then try and hold him there so they could talk to him. It was just this surreal, bizarre thing to watch all of these well-to-do, well, frankly, very wealthy business owners in their 50s and 60s fangirling like this was Taylor Swift. I didn't join them at the rope. I sat at the table and just watched this circus play out in front of me. It was one of the funniest things I've seen.
Was Javier Milei at the
Javier Milei? No, he wasn't there. That was he went to CPAC, which was I think about 2 weeks later. And I would have loved to have been there for that, but I had to come back. I had other commitments. But it's just we don't have an equivalent here in Australia. We don't have that kind of just over the top nonsense. Like I like Trump as a president. I think he did better than most of the others. I'm not anti-Trump, but the circus that goes on around him is just pure absurdity. I'm looking forward to the reality TV show, like the Kardashian style show that is the Trump family. I would actually watch that one.
Interesting.
See, I can just see you running for politics with a MAGA hat as well. Make Australia great again.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it. Breaking news. I think it was this morning. Craig Kelly has defected from the UAP to Pauline Hanson's One Nation.
Okay.
Which is an interesting move. And I'm not sure what that says about where Clive Palmer is at and where the UAP are at. But I do have to wonder if Clive Palmer, maybe that's indicative that Clive Palmer is losing his enthusiasm for spending $100 million every election for very limited results. And it may be that we might see something of a merger or something like that. Obviously, they do have one senator in Ralph Babette for Victoria. But I wonder if that's a harbinger, a death knell for the UAP, and that perhaps we might see the UAP resources moving across to Pauline Hanson. We'll see.
Well, I saw that the backstage meeting between Trump and Javier he announced that he was MAGA as well, make Argentina great again. So I figured we're in Australia, so let's make Australia great again. There could be we've got the Five I countries. Maybe we could, when Trump gets in, we could make it the, however many A countries there is, the
the 5As. Yeah, I think that could very quickly be turned around to be the 5A-hole countries. So I don't know if I'd really want to. Go there.
But you could get good people make Australia great again.
Yeah. Make Australia break bad laws. We have to do like a hybrid. Make Australia break bad laws. I mean, it doesn't roll off the tongue. MAGA, Mabable. Yeah, it's just not quite as easy to say. It's going to be a funny year. It's going to be a very funny year. I reckon there's likely to be a federal election here in Australia before the year is over as well.
Wow.
Typically when a PM is tanking as hard as what Anthony Albanese is right now, that'll usually lead to an early election, especially if this by-election, which I think is this weekend or the weekend after, the Dunkley by-election, if that flips and that becomes a Liberal seat, then that's going to be a real problem for Anthony Albanese.
Well, Anthony Albanese has been a real problem, hasn't he?
Now, we can talk about politics, but we try not to be too political, all right?
Just stating a fact.
Look, there might be one or two cigar smokers that actually support the Labor Party in Australia, and we don't want to put them offside, okay?
Well, speaking of Mr. Albanese and cigar smoking, as of March 1, tobacco price goes up another 5%.
Yeah, the excise.
Tobacco tax on September 1. March 1, it's going up another 5%. And September 1 this year, it goes up another 5%. So by Christmas, our cigars will be 10% more expensive.
Yay. Ridiculous. Well, we try and keep our prices as low as we can for as long as we can. But obviously, we have to make adjustments when that happens. So, guys, good time to stock up. I'll get another email out. What are we now? If we're shipping the next round of cigars in about 2 weeks, you said, Damo?
Yeah, look, I'll be sending out the invoices probably in about a week's time. And then with the aim to be shipping out in about a fortnight's time so that everyone gets them by the end of the third week of March.
All right. Well, just send me a message, Damo, on anything that's sold out from the last time we sent out an email so I can delete those from the list, and anything new that's come in, and I'll send out an updated email so people can save on shipping.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is in the interim email that went out, we had some new small sticks that were we just got in. Yeah. And the Davidoffs have actually been very impressive. They've been very unlike the typical Davidoffs that you're used to. Davidoffs are always a pleasant, good, smooth, mild, good, just a nice general smoke. But I've actually been impressed with the complexity and even the fruitiness that those sticks have been giving me. So, yeah.
I actually had one yesterday, and I was reflecting on the fact that it was an exceptionally good stick that I thoroughly enjoyed, but it was distinctly different from what you expect when you pick up a Davidoff. There is a brand consistency with Davidoff almost to a fault. It's kind of in most brands, most smokers can find something that they like, but if you're not a fan of that Davidoff signature, it's right there all the way across the brand, except for that one. And that was quite interesting for me. And I wonder if that represents a new direction for the company, where they are trying to diversify their flavor profile a little bit, or whether that's just kind of an anomaly. And we'll have to wait and see with what they come out with in the next couple of years.
And the other really interesting thing is, too, that Davidoffs have generally been the larger sticks, or the very small cigarello size, but to see that they're actually pushing more in that 4 by 38 to sort of 5 to 40 by 46 size, in that realm, that sort of lower end mid size, is also quite an interesting move by them, because they've never been interested in that market until now. So
yeah, something's changed. There's a new strategic head, or there's a new blender, or something's changed in the company.
And I think that a lot of what's been going on in America, particularly with the likes of Room 101 with Steve Sarker, with what's the other brand I can't think of at the moment, CAO, and just a couple of those other brands, trying to really diversify the flavors of the different lines that they run to actually, have something available in their entire range that's going to suit everybody. Has been really good. It's definitely been a benefit for the industry, and I think that Davidoff can see that, and also the fact that they're trying to come in with cigars at the lower price end as well, because Davidoff is an expensive brand, and they're trying to push more into the normal cigar smoking market as well. So.
Yeah. I can see, Omar, you got steam coming out your ears. You just wanted to add to that list that Damo just gave us. You needed to add Gurkha. I could see that you're just needing to add Gurkha to that list of cigars that have really changed the game.
Yeah.
They haven't changed the game. I mean, they're a fabulous stick, but they're not one of the ones that's really pushing out there.
Yeah, if you look at outside the American market, the main players that I've seen in multiple markets, they are La Aurora, Plasencia, Davidoff, Bed of New World, from Age of Indus. So Room 101 is definitely, I've seen a bit of it, and of course Believe It. So they are your main heavy hitters. But my question was actually, what cigar did you smoke? What Davidoff did you smoke?
Which one is it, Damo?
Say that again.
The one
what was the Davidoff that you sent me?
Hang on, let me just pull up the.
While you're doing that, Stu, you're quite right. I'd love to see Kristen get in, but we're talking lower house, so the mathematics on that is pretty unlikely. I'd love for it to happen, but it's pretty unlikely. We've had a Facebook user jump in, so if you could go to streamyard.com/Facebook, link your account, and we'll be able to see who you are. Are there any Australian-made cigars? Well, I'm fairly confident in saying that there's none. Technically, it's not illegal to grow tobacco in this country, but the rules, you have to pay all of the tax on the potential yield of the plants, the tobacco plants, when you put the seed in the ground. So it just makes no sense. The amount of paperwork, the amount of monitoring and reporting that's required, and the amount of upfront money that you've got to be willing to pay just for the privilege of putting a tobacco seed in the ground is just prohibitive. And so no one bothers that I'm aware of.
With the Davidoffs, did I send you both sizes or just the?
No, just a smaller one.
Okay, was it torpedo shaped or normal shape?
No.
Okay, so that one was the Davidoff Winston Churchill Petite Pantella. But the one that I've really been enjoying is the Davidoff Winston Churchill Bellicoso, which is a 4.5 by 56. It's only just a little bit bigger, similar size tin. So the Petite Pantella is like the little Puritos that the Perdomo champagne comes in, a little tin of 5. The Bellicoso, the tin is just a fraction bigger, but there's only 4 in there instead of 5. And it's actually really nice packaging as well, coming in the nice little embossed white tins. Beautiful.
Yeah, nice
little setup.
Well, David would know, having been in politics for as long as he has. That's different to what I've heard before, though, David. That my understanding is it's an ATO issue, and so long as you've gone to the ATO, told them what you're planting, and paid your tax up front, that it's fine. But no one does that, which is why they raid the crops.
They issue you with a growing permit once you've paid the money. But actually, to comply with the permit too, you've actually got to have security. So that all these security measures to show that you're preventing theft of the crop and surveillance of the crop, and it's almost like you're trying to grow hard drugs, basically. So
yeah, crazy. So Dan's got a question. Omar, can you explain why on so many cigar pages everyone seems to hate Gurkhas so much?
I think it's a common theme, especially some of the Middle Eastern countries. They actually, I know a couple of countries actually. Unofficially don't want them to be even imported. It's because whatever guy's name is, whatever that guy's name is, the owner,
Yeah,
He hates
not sure.
personal political views. I think it's highly marketed. I think it's the price tag never equates to the quality of cigar. It never has. And I think they make a lot of fuss about their packaging and all that shit. But I don't think they're amazing cigars, to be honest. I think that's why people overlook the price tag and the shit marketing they do. That's what it is.
Yeah, the
So
marketing
the
is
Gurkha that we
really.
had in pack one was the Gurkha Chairman Select Perfecto. It's a tiny little stick. It was a 4.5 by 58 with a pigtail cap.
Yeah.
Now I tried to restock on those. They didn't have that size available, but they actually had it in a Churchill Vitola. So I do have a box of them, and that's a 6.5 by 54, same blend, but in a Churchill Vitola. So
I will say that Chairman Select was a very, very good stick. And then we actually had enough to include them a second time in a pack with a bit more age on them. And that was a very good stick. Some Gurkhas can be very good, but I think Omar's spot on. I'm not sure. I'm not aware of the political side of it, but I think a lot of people have just kind of reacted to the marketing. It's really over the top, really, kind of we are the best in the world. And, they do stunts like packaging them in 24 karat gold and stuff like that. And the price is just,
as well.
and the price has become outrageous. Yeah. So he's done a lot of stunts to get a lot of attention, and in the process, he's put a lot of people offside. I'd say there's some good sticks in there, but overall, you're paying over the odds for what you're getting.
Yeah, totally.
So Sparks a lot has come in with a comment on the growing issue. Technically legal, but they've made it incredibly difficult.
My cigar has gone off.
Isn't it ironic? You can grow yourself marijuana these days, but you can't grow yourself tobacco.
It's absurd. The classification for tobacco is absolutely absurd. No one can logically substantiate that. Why?
What happens if you say my plant identifies as marijuana?
No, or
well, Damo, I think you better find out. Just use that backyard of yours and let us know. let us know when your court date is. I'll visit you in prison at least once.
The tobacco's probably cheaper in prison than out in the street anyway.
Yeah, probably. A progress report from Stephen. Halfway through the final third, and the flavour, heat, and oily mouthfeel is building. It's ending well. Yeah, I would say it's achieved that medium body that it advertises. It says that it gets to a medium body, and you're just a bit further through than what I am. Sorry, I'm just a bit further through than what you are. Definitely building. Still very, very smokable. One of those sticks that I think you can smoke all the way down.
Ever so slight.
You're trying to make me feel better because it's not working. How dare they assume it's species?
Well, I guess as long as you put the little, the signs that they, gardeners put next to all their plants, you just write on it that it's, it's marijuana, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a they them.
Yeah, you just cut out some print out some marijuana leaves and just tape it onto the plant.
Just get some tomato leaves. They can't tell the difference.
No, they can't tell the difference.
True story. Many years ago, we had chickens that got taken by foxes in Sydney. So we didn't have any chickens left, but we were feeding them a mixed blend of chicken feed that had hemp seed in it, and we didn't realize that the chicken didn't eat the hemp seed. And so we had this chicken coop with this, mesh wire all around it and a gate and door and, mesh over the roof. And after about 4 or 5 months, all the hemp seeds sprouted up. So it was like this whole crop of hemp growing inside this caged off section in our backyard.
That's your story. That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
That's it.
Oh, dear. starting to get a little bit of bite now. Just a bit of a lingering heat on the lips, a little bit of white pepper on the tip of the tongue.
There's a very faint muskiness in mine as well at the moment. A decent burn time. Really good burn time.
Oh, yeah.
And easy. Like none of us have had to coddle the cigars. Mine is smoked beautifully despite me having to, use the glue on it and that sort of stuff. It's in terms of what that's translated to in the way it's burned, it's had no issues at all.
No issues.
Yeah, this would definitely be on my list to have again. So what do we have in this pack? We had the Lot 23, which has lots of age on it. That was spectacular.
Not in this pack we're smoking now.
Wasn't there a...
Now it's a Perdomo. It was the...
No.
The...
We had the Sobremesa Brûlé Blue.
Right.
Then we had the Perdomo 10th Anniversary Champagne Noir, which was a discontinued one.
Yeah, okay.
That was a Noir.
So when did we have that Lot 23 then? When was the most recent Lot 23? No. The most recent. We had it back. We had it again, didn't we?
I don't think we did.
Okay. All right. I must have just gotten some for my own collection at some point then.
The plan was to look at the Lot 23 Sun Grown and the Lot 23 Maduro at some point.
That's right. Yeah. Well, what do you reckon between the Brûlé Blue, the Champagne Noir, and this? What would be your pick?
Brûlé Blue. Straight up. Brûlé Blue. Wow, it was good. Definitely pick that.
I really enjoyed the Champagne Noir, but I think that's because I smoked it without you guys. So it might not be reflective of the cigar itself.
Well, I've had quite a few of those. Because the ones that we had were actually boxed from my own personal collection, and I still have a couple of boxes in my own personal collection, and I still enjoy those. There's a tough one. It really is a tough one in this pack. I can't fault any of those cigars that we've had in this pack.
No, all good cigars.
I would gladly buy all of them again and smoke all of them again.
I'm just gonna, sorry, one sec. I'm just gonna do something here. I'm actually going to agree with Omar that the Brûlé Blue was the winner.
No, it was because look, put it this way: if someone to offer you a cigar out of those three, I would pick Brûlé Blue any day, easily.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think it's easy. I think it would get top spot from me, but it wouldn't be easy.
Look, if you're going to get a cigar that you were able to go out and buy again, definitely between this and the Brûlé Blue, I'd be choosing the Brûlé Blue.
Yeah. Okay. Mixed responses from viewers. So clearly a split decision here.
Actually, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty confident that what was left of the Champagne Noirs did get snapped up by a few of the subscribers from that pack as well. So I'm pretty certain we sold out of those. So
you just have to dive back into your personal collection there, Damo. You know, make a few more available.
Well, I was tempted to buy. I did hunt around and I did find someone that had a box left in America that was willing to sell, but I didn't quite pull the trigger on that one. Yeah,
fair enough. There's a slight sour kind of twist that's creeping in now. So I'm right down the business end. There's not much left, and there's a texture, that oiliness that Steve mentioned earlier, is definitely there. But also there's a marmalade. There's a citrus rind that's creeping in.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a tang. It's an interesting tang. There's an oiliness. There's a bit of a tang. I've got it all, but I'm not sure what kind of tang is it.
Mm. It's not the Cuban tang.
No,
No.
it's more of a lighter, sharper tang kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a little bit sharper, a little bit more distinct. Daniel mentioned paprika earlier, and I can see that. It's not clear for me, but with you having mentioned it, Dan, I can see that. But for me, there's just that real tang has really kicked in.
Yeah.
Like once you've breathed out the smoke, if you just retro some of the air in your mouth over your sinuses, you'll pick up that paprika note.
Yeah.
I think your sinus is probably picking up Nick Perdomo's bodily fluids, maybe. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm into the nub getting quite hot, but I'm enjoying the extra nicotine it's offering. I'd say this is pretty much a spot on amount of nicotine. I'm enjoying that aspect of this cigar a lot.
You guys
Definitely not too much.
nicotine.
You've been drinking too much kombucha, Dan.
Yeah, he has been, hasn't he?
Fizzy bin juice. You can't talk, Omar. You drink the stuff by the gallon.
Damo makes it, man.
Well, I'm almost at the point where I'm going to have to either spike it or put it down, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I'll get the spike ready just in case.
Good idea.
It's actually gone quite soft. The nub is quite soft now. There we go. Okay.
Wow, I just got a nice big hit of that citrus note. Really
Yeah.
nice.
It's actually settled a little bit for me. I'm glad I spiked it, actually, because that last puff was lovely. Oh, get off me. Ah.
Well, I'm going to spike mine too while I can.
Yeah, I've got a light on just to... So I'm not sitting here in the dark, and it's attracted every bug you can imagine.
Standard. It's been really humid in Sydney, man. It's going to be 35 degrees tomorrow. It's humid as shit.
I'm sitting here sweating.
Yeah.
I got a 7-hour drive tomorrow, so
Oh,
I'll be
fun.
all day.
You poor thing. Where are you off to?
Gunning and back.
Well, I guess, for a bloke who's not traveling out of the country, you've got to do whatever you can. It's not Miami, but I guess gunning will have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure, Dan, that pink grapefruit juice with soda water is just kombucha for people that can't bring themselves to admit that they drink kombucha. Like, is there a difference?
Look, I've progressed from kombucha, I must say. I'm now doing into brewing my own apple cider vinegar.
Oh, my goodness.
That's pretty good.
Sorry, Emma.
No, it's good. I like it. He's been doing it. He's been doing a good job. He got a couple of brews. They've been good. Boys, what? I was at a cigar night not long ago, and called me ignorant or whatever. On the tap, they had food and drinks and all kind of thing. And I had this person. He was like, "I'm drinking tonic water." They're all cigar smokers. There was a launch of Australian distributor launching a cigar, right? Anyway,
Sure.
I was like, "What the fuck's that?" I had a bit of a taste to it, and boy, apparently there's some shrub shit that you can buy from the supermarket. I don't go to the supermarket much, but man, that pairing as a cigar drink for without alcohol, it was boom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, tonic water. I think it was some Indians, but maybe that's right.
Yeah. So there's a few different types of tonic water, and Indian tonic water there's a good brand that is available in supermarkets. I only know this because my father-in-law drinks gin and tonics, and there's a particular brand of Indian tonic water that is available in all the supermarkets that is really good.
Made by Schweppes, which is traditional, whatever. Dude, it pairs so well with all the cigars smoked that night. I'm like, man, why the fuck? I have not tried this before just because it comes from the supermarket. I need to go back and buy bottles. It was in a little glass bottle. Super nice.
Plenty of shows in the past I've been drinking tonic water with my cigars.
Yeah, nice.
So
I really like it.
The truth comes out.
Cool.
That's your proof that you've drunk tonic water with cigars. That's like your resume.
Yeah,
what makes you a cigar professor?
I was onto it before it was a fad.
You're doing it before it was cool.
It's like facial hair. I started the trend in Australia for men to grow beards again.
Seriously, I can't see there.
And so you reckon you were first, and yet yours is only this long. Omar's is this long. So what have you been doing all this time, Damo?
No, I just like just look the shabby chic look.
Oh man, that's really shabby.
Yeah, yeah. I think you forgot the chic.
Topher, I'll tell you what. Qatar Airways first class and their lounge, I think every human must try it once at least. Oh,
yeah, right.
There's nothing.
That was the lounge in the Qatar airport.
Yes, their first class executive lounge, and particularly when you fly first class, man.
Yeah, Omar had to FaceTime me from there just to show me.
So, Omar, you were just wanting to name drop the fact that you flew first class, right? That's all this was about.
No, it's not. Dude, they take it to the service levels in the Middle East. You cannot imagine. It's beyond imagination. It's just out of control. It's good. It's good. You should try it next time you fly. Just don't forget to try it.
I'll go via the Middle East next time I go to America.
The thing is, you can actually, and it costs you about the same. You get to stay in a cool place and smoke some cigars, and you get looked after. Oh man, you can walk through places with cigar in your mouth and they would not say a thing. I'm like, this is good. Christmas is good.
Well, it's interesting because correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Islamic religion, they're not supposed to smoke. So it's not against it, but there are guidelines that said this is not good for your health, right? There are things about it, but it's a cultural thing. Like if you go to Indonesia, for example, everyone smokes. If you go to Korea, everyone smokes, like literally. And cigars for just like cool people, and they don't mind that. Just go past anywhere, and they go like, oh, "That's cool." And I'm guessing they don't have taxes the way we do.
No, man. I was telling. I don't know how many boxes of. This is bad, but there were. I went to the cigar shop, and it had Plasencia for $4 something a stick, and I'm looking. This is not right. This is not right. $5 there. I'm like, you can't leave that. You just cannot leave that. You just.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Omar's planning his next layover in the Middle East, so he can 7 days between flights, and he's just planning to stay in the first class smoking lounge for 7 days.
Not only that, most hotel rooms are smoke friendly.
Yeah, right.
And when you walk into it, you think you're gonna smell like shit. It's just no smoke, like no smell. They have to work around that. They have to do it. It's very good. Very good.
So that's why Omar just keeps missing his flights out of the Middle East. He said, "Oh, I missed it again. Oh, I'll have to stay overnight again."
Yeah. Why the fuck not?
Well, I'm just about done with this. This has been a beautiful smoke. Hour and a half since we lit up. Just effortless. It makes no demands of you at all. It just sits there, smokes beautifully. You can put it down, pick it up. Just a superb construction.
I think the only criticism I got of this stick is it wasn't a Churchill.
Yeah. Boys, I would say this, and I would say this. I have I don't know, admission or confession or something, whatever you want to call that. I went through a stage where Damo was ordering me cigars, and I'm going to the States. I'm like, Damo, what, blah, blah, blah. He was rambling on about the size. I said, listen, go to the largest they have in this Vitola. Just cut this. The 6x60 Gorgeous was my favorite. And I'm honestly, I say, hand on my heart, I'm really getting into smaller sizes, as in, the ring gauge, the smaller. I'm enjoying it a lot more. I can't.
What happens as you get older, Omar?
Yeah, probably.
Omar's becoming a man. It's amazing. I never thought that would happen.
I'm telling you, 660 sack job. You gotta go 6 to 40 something. I think that is 45, 48, 50 max. I think that's where the beauty line is. That's just amazing.
Well, some of my favorite cigars. I mean, I'm a sucker for the Oliva V's, but you get the Oliva V's in the Lancero, and that I think is one of the best expressions of that cigar.
And do you remember those leaves that we had? They are by far the underrated cigars ever.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah.
Period. They were gorgeous, man. I really miss them. They were good cigars.
What's interesting, the Oliva. Actually, I think I might have them back in stock, but I'm not sure if I got more stock of the Oliva Lancero in the last order. I'd have to go back and check. But the previous order, I got some more in. As soon as they were available, someone just bought the whole box.
Well, I cleaned you out of, I think, the last of the Oliva V Lanceros when I did my last order. I think I bought out the remaining stock of that.
Yeah, and it's not one that's not a Vitola that's readily stocked. Like, it comes in a few times a year, but when it does, the supply is just out of it straight away.
Yeah.
Stu,
you're in trouble.
You're right on the money.
I agree with that, but yeah.
We could make a new YouTube channel, Confessions of the Diversity Hire.
It's got to change to quality.
Well, gentlemen, I think we should call it. We're nearly an hour and 40 minutes into the show. We've nubbed it. We've smoked it down to the last. That it was a beautiful stick. So credit to you, Damo, as always. Fantastic work in curating this collection that we've been enjoying now for. Well, let me think for a second. This is pack 13, which means that at the end of the next. Is that right? At the end of the next pack will be. I'm getting my years mixed up. No, we just had our third birthday. We've had our third birthday already.
Yep.
We're halfway through the fourth year. Can you believe?
December.
Yeah. Heading into year number 4.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Well, there's David also voting with the narrow ring gauge. Udo's chimed in, said thank you. Good to see you, Udo. Always a pleasure.
Udo.
Nice to have you join us. And well, gentlemen, another good night. I think we'll call it there. Keep an eye out for an invoice in the next week or so, and an email letting you know what we've got in stock. We do have some smaller sticks, as Damo mentioned. Good time to restock before the taxes go up again. So make sure you jump on that. And thank you for joining us, Stephen. Your tasting notes were much appreciated all the way through, and you're a welcome addition to these live chats. Alrighty, gentlemen, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Then.
See ya.